Previously on the IRSU Burn the World Down Legendary Challenge. Well, looks like I was right, the world really is going down to shit. There's natural disasters everywhere, the sea people are coming, the Hittites are sending their puppets to the south to interfere in Canaanite business. Luckily, we have the rise of a new hero, Maharbal, who's been destroying the small Hittite armies. The Egyptians are also kind of getting pissed off and they're starting to send armies from the south as well. Things are not looking good for a free Canaan, but there is one man, one myth, one legend, yeah, you see this guy who's like stabbing everybody who should probably be locked up in a mental asylum? There is still so much work to do, so many enemies to slaughter in the name of Moloch and other Canaanite gods before Canaan is truly free. Halab is one of the only factions standing in the way of us reunifying the ancient area of Yamchad, and who am I to say no to a good old-fashioned slaughter? Halab was contested for centuries by many kingdoms. From the ancient kingdom of Yamchad in the Middle Bronze Age, to even the Egyptians claiming dominion over it, and the kingdom of Mitanni to the Hittites. And surprise, surprise, the Assyrians would come later and kick some ass and take it over. And even into the Iron Age. But that's a story for another time. Now let's get our Abiru through the mud. And speaking of Abiru, I just want you to take a look at this little unit here hiding in the forest. These guys have been with us from turn 1 of the campaign. They've won us so many battles without any counterplay. Pick a name for them, the one with the highest upvotes gets to be renamed on the campaign. And now that we've said that, let's collect some blood and skulls for Moloch. It's time for slaughter. Alright, so we're just gonna get a crazy charge off in here. We don't really care about micro this time, we just want to have some fun with our good old pals' chariots. Which apparently IRSU decided to get another pair of because, you know, once you get a chariot, it's kind of really hard to stop enjoying them. Trust me, I've tried. Chariots are a special form of addiction. It's not like sugar where you're like, yeah, I can quit this anytime I want. It's not like nicotine. It's like something much deadlier. Much deadlier in the context of for your enemy, as we see the Canaanites clashing here. Brother against brother. Warlord against warlord. But will that help them in the end? Realistically, not really, because we know I've got Abiru. Come on. Dude, I've literally got the best mercenaries this side of the... I don't even know, Euphrates? Anyway, let's get our trump card here. Let's get our chariots to start mowing down. They're slightly bogged down, not an issue with enough attack order, but now they're going in. You see that unit? That unit is about to be as dead as can be. The Damascus Drift just tramples all over them, and it's time to actually go further. As the Abiru get ready to launch some devastating flank attacks, we're gonna also at the same time simultaneously go with the chariots. We do not care. IRSU does not care where the blood comes from as long as it flows. His own men, the enemy, it doesn't matter. We're sacrificing to Moloch. We're also probably sacrificing to Baal and El for just being such a glorious Canaanite god. The chariots are gonna collide into themselves because, you know, small indie companies, small beta game. But eventually, it doesn't matter. The Abiru are just mercenaries to the extreme. Worth every penny, and look at them cheering after the massacre they've caused. Yeah, I'd be pretty cheering too if I was in this situation. Let's get a beautiful Abiru charge again. These guys winning as the campaign since turn 1, and nothing is changing. Even when everybody's recruiting tier 5s, we're still gonna be chilling with a gold-ranked Abiru just slaughtering anybody the world can throw at us. Sea people who? Egypt what? I don't know, but we're gonna continue pushing on with our chariots. Let's see if they can get some stabs in on the enemy recruits. Yeah, they managed to get some stabs in, going through. Just nothing new to see here. The other unit of chariots is going into the rear there. Are they actually gonna connect? Yeah, they get a devastating charge over. They're rolling over the recruits. These guys are moving in just on time to see the carnage. This unit is basically shaken. If this wasn't legendary, it would be an insta-rout, but speaking of which, I think I got a great idea. It's called charging into another unit after the collision issues get fixed. Let's take a look. And look at that. Damascus Drift in action. IRSU is definitely loving every blood spilt, even though, yes, I know, no blood DLC yet, but it is what it is. Halab has been slaughtered. We basically have no obstacles except to got it now. The High King and his heavily armored puppets just keep interfering in Canaanite business, so I think it's time to teach them a lesson once and for all before we invade Hattusha. No time for pretentious speeches, no time for rallying the men of Canaan. It's time to destroy the Hittite puppets and bring freedom to our lands. Now, how are we gonna do that considering they're massively, tankier than us? Well, we got a few solutions. Number 1, chariots. Number 2, Abiru. Because how can you say no to this unit that's just been carrying us from the very beginning of the campaign? Yeah, definitely not. Anyway, we're just gonna rush into them straight line. Maybe even IRSU's gonna join into the rush because that guy is a maniac, and yeah, it is what it is. We're just gonna slowly get the Abiru up as well. IRSU is not that crazy enough to charge into all of them solo, don't worry. We're gonna let the Javelin men expend their ammunition first on our D-rolled expendable Hupshu, the peasant class, but trust me, they're performing like real aristocratic warriors if you're asking me now. Okay, they're lining up, that's perfect. It's time for a great killer charge, but actually, from both sides, as we get the Hupshu here, Hupshu there, we get the Canaanites all across there, basically, but we also get a beautiful Damascus drift into the enemy general. We managed to cause some impact damage and push into the unit behind them, but we don't want to risk overstaying, so we're just going to pull back. Meanwhile, our Hittites are not going to be living long enough to tell the tale about their bravery. And now our boy IRSU, he's all ready to go in. He's just gonna charge frontally while we keep cycling this guy. IRSU goes in, blood comes out, crushed bones come out as well. The chariots just need a little bit of a push, but look at that devastation downhill as they swan militia, and even the heavily armored troops just can't really say no to his Marianu chariot. That's what I call brutal. But we also have another chariot to worry about, which is going to try to devastate the Hittite general. Just get a good angle, go through his shield wall formation. Yup. There's not much he can do. We're just going to back off and we're going to go into more. Meanwhile, IRSU needs to run away from the axemen. We need to get rid of the javelins. That's why we're flanking them. It's time for our special ops to actually come into play. And no, I'm not talking about the chariots. I'm talking about our lovely Abiru. Now, first we're gonna get another charge into the renowned Isuan Axemen. These units are extremely aggressive, but can they beat a downhill chariot charge? Yeah, the answer is no. No matter what you fought, the answer is no. Go refund that lottery ticket. We're just gonna go into the general. That's very simple for us. We're going into the forest. Even though it is generally a terrible idea to go into the forest like this, we don't really care per se. We're just still gonna slaughter a lot. The general is on his dying breath, basically. We're just gonna try to maneuver IRSU out. We're gonna get some more Abiru downstairs. Perfect. Occupy this unit of Isuans while we get the killing blow from the rear with this chariot. Let's look at a great charge with the veteran Canaanite warriors. If we could just, ignore the foliage, that would be great. They managed to get a nice little charge into the Asuans, but honestly, it's not going to be enough to break them. We're going to need to use some secret Abiru tech, so we're just going to do that now. These Abiru have gotten some charges from the rear, but not enough. Meanwhile, let's look at them, cause some havoc. Perfect unit if you want to just ruin your enemy's day. Two-handed bronze axes, can you really say no to that? Of course not. IRSU recovered. The enemy general is not really recovering as fast as he can. So let's just actually pull these Abiru here into the enemy's rear, and they're gonna go into the armored Hittite skirmishers. If we can see anything from the foliage, even though it's been cancelled, they're actually going into the forest and chopping up the super heavy javelin men into pieces. You know what? The Hittites are basically tin cans, and I've brought a lot of can openers this battle, as you can see. Preparing is half the war, something like that. And IRSU gets a brutal charge into the Hittite general. This is why you don't send your puppet states to wage war. They're just gonna embarrass you, and I think this guy got a pretty embarrassed heart, you know? Obviously, let's ignore the fact that I gotta do cinematic shots for YouTube and stuff like that. They have just been obliterated. The general is gonna flee. Honestly, dishonorable display. The Abiru are just gonna mop up the rest, and the Hittites can just go and sawed off from Canaan. Wait, you seriously thought it was this easy? The Hittite invasion is intensifying. Big Boy himself is even coming to pay us a visit. The Sea People are causing havoc, and it's probably just a matter of time before they knock on our door, and same for Egypt. This really is World War Bronze. Where is Assyria? Well, that's something you're just gonna have to find out. And until the next time...